Hi, friends. Welcome to Talking with Famous People. It's official. I'm so proud. Just 32 years after I graduated from high school, the Arcadia High School Alumni Association has finally gotten together and rectified a great injustice that occurred and retroactively voted me prom queen. I'm so excited. It's long been my dream to be prom queen, and finally it's a dream that's come true. I am your new official prom queen. It took long enough, but finally they recognized my beauty. Hi, David Anderson. Don't tell me you're prom king. I don't want to go to the prom with you. Just kidding. I'm fine if you're prom king, David Anderson. It's fine. I don't mean to be dissing your qualifications for prom king. No, you're not prom queen. Next year, maybe curious, Kyra. I'm prom queen. Okay, there's only one queen. You can be a princess. You can be a prom princess, but you can't be a prom queen. No, you're not. I am. I've already made this clear. I'm the queen. You can just be a princess, or you could be a knight if you want, but you can't be the queen. Yeah, no kidding. The whole thing's been blown out of proportion. It's a sort of, novel virus that the human and every other population has been dealing with for all of history. Sure, it's perfectly reasonable to take precautions. Nobody is saying that. Thanks, Rachel. Thank you. I've been trying to be prom queen now for over 30 years, and I finally got it. It's like, God, what? I am so far ahead of the curve. I'm like 30 plus years ahead of the curve is what it is. My cool when I was in high school would have earned me prom queen in 2020, but they weren't ready for it yet. That's the thing. Yeah, of course I'm taking you to prom. The problem is, Rachel, I don't think you're on the ballot for prom king. So I'm probably not going to be able to dance that important dance with you. It looks like it's going to have to be David Sanderson. He's taking safety measures, though, for COVID. So I'm not sure if he's going to want to slow dance with me. No, she's not the prom queen. I'm prom queen. Okay? She's not on the ballot for king, but David Sanderson is. Look, I launched a formal investigation into what was going on with the prom queen vote back when I was in high school because I was sure I should have won it, and according to the official statistics, I didn't get any votes. I was like, somebody is cheating, obviously, here. Well, I have been relentlessly hammering Arcadia High School about this for 30 plus years, and finally they relented and agreed to make me prom queen. It is terribly sorry and sad that Rachel, while she will go to the prom with me, she will not get to dance the official king-queen dance. Okay, thank you, Running Fox. Yeah. You thought king. No, I'm not. I didn't want prom king. Who wants to be prom king? Did you ever hear anybody bragging about being prom king? No. Nobody cares about prom king. They only care about prom queen. That was my objection in the first place. Sure, I could have run for prom king back in high school, but, nobody cares about that. What kind of dress am I going to wear? I'm going to get whatever dress I find. I'm just going to bedazzle the living fuck out of it. It's going to be the most bedazzled dress you've ever seen. It's going to be sequins, rhinestones, more sequins, and more rhinestones.
Can I have a suggestion?
Sure.
Maybe wear the sexy hat.
You know what? I meant to mention this. I saw the sexy hat.
No.
On TV.
Are you fucking serious?
And I was watching some Saturday Night Live skits or whatever. And they had there was a Saturday Night Live skit where it was Floribama Shore, and it was making fun of it was like Jersey Shore, but it was Floribama Shore. It's like where Florida and Alabama are on the Gulf Coast or whatever. So it was meant to be especially trashy. And one of the ladies in the show had on the sexy hat, except it was a different color, but it was the same exact hat.
Oh my god!
I'd never seen it ever before.
Funny.
But yeah, I saw the sexy hat on TV. Now, I'm pleased to say that I wore the sexy hat before that Saturday Night
Way
Live ever
before.
did. So that's important.
That's very important.
Yes, Curious Kyra, you can be a princess. You can be on my court. Rachel, would you like to be on my prom court? You can be
Yeah.
a princess too. You just can't be queen because that's
Okay.
my job.
But
Okay.
so am I second ranked?
You're second, of course. You're ahead of Kyra. You're a lady. She's just a princess.
Ooh. I feel like we're in the 50s.
Now, look. I want to make something very clear. I don't give it up on prom night, all right? Most girls do, not me. That's the
why
only day I don't give it up.
That's why you're
That's
queen.
the one night I will not have sex with you. It's prom night.
Really?
Yeah. It's the one time I will not, unlike most girls, I do not give it up in a hotel room after prom, okay? I'm not giving it up like that.
All right. You've been voted. You've stated that you don't want to have.
Right, I want you to
sex on
drive me
prom
home
night.
after the prom and kiss me on the cheek and drop me off.
That's
That's it, yes.
Not even like partying after prom.
I am not going to.
What's the point of prom?
I want to remind
After
you,
prom.
do you remember the Miss America who got her crown taken away because she posed in Playboy?
Yes.
I'm concerned about getting my prom queenhood retroactively removed from me if I don't behave myself after prom.
I get it. So
That's why
can
on prom day, I'm not pulling any bong rips. Not even one. Whole prom day. Just to be sure. Just to be safe.
Great. Maybe, Kyra, you want to take us first lead ahead of me?
Rachel doesn't seem like she's down for the no bong rips rule.
I'm a little frightened.
More like Queen of Blue Balls. Am I right, Rachel? Good point on herself. Good point.
Yeah, there's something exactly. It's like I'm not even king. I have to follow the prom queen around, but
you get to hold up my train. That's
How-
part of my dress that drags on the
wonderful.
ground.
But I don't even get any action at the end of the night.
No, you don't.
And there's not even an after party.
Well, there is. It's just you feeding me cake with a little spoon.
That's the after party.
Yeah. And me going, enough, more, in queen-like fashion.
Maybe this is why you haven't been voted as prom queen before.
We voted Eric prom queen. He turned into a total tyrant. The worst mistake we ever made was voting Eric prom queen. God, I can't believe he's got us picking cotton out in the fields.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, what is Curious Kyra's job as prom princess?
Oh, you have to pick up her train. So each of us wears a long dress that has the drags on the ground behind it. It's called the train. She has to carry my train. You have to carry her train. Your train drags on the ground and gets dirty. That's why you're third princess, or third in the royal family. You're like the bastard child of the king. You're only half royal. Okay, you are the result of the king humping a chambermaid.
Oh,
so you're only half royal. You're illegitimate
prom
royal.
queen holds nothing back.
Me, I'm legit. My mom was queen. My dad was king. I was princess. Then my mom died, and that's how I became prom queen. That's the legitimate way to become prom queen. You're just my bastard half sister.
Can somebody set up a after prom? I need to go somewhere after having so many duties.
You're going right to bed after that, lady, okay?
Damn.
Going right to bed.
After feeding you cake from little spoons.
With little silver spoons, yes.
Who eats cake with a spoon?
It's not just one spoon. Every time a spoon gets dirty, you have to discard it and use a new one. There's a whole set of silver spoons
Sorry, can we see
required to feed me one piece of cake.
these folks? Where
Are you questioning the legitimacy of this election? I assure you, I was voted prom queen today by Arcadia High School's Alumni Association.
Welcome, Kitty. Welcome. Good job.
What an important door opener you are.
Good job. Yes.
She's like, will you say chill out, please?
I know. She's like, you just watched me. I have to pull it open myself. It's so much easier for you to do it. I'm sorry, Pee-Pee. Oh, there you are.
Rachel's going to come over and do my makeup the afternoon before.
That's
what
a weird look.
Well, when am I going to have time to do my makeup? Like, your makeup doesn't matter, princess. I'm prom queen. Get out the rouge and start rubbing it on my cheeks.
This is a great look for like.
And if you think you will defy me, I will use the power. I know I had to close the door earlier because it was a little unusual.
It's like Erica's prom queen.
Yeah. When I become prom queen, the clouds will part and all the sunbeams will shine down on me. Oh! No, my true reality of life has finally become my vision has finally become reality.
You found your purpose.
So I
have a question though. How long does prom queen last? Only for prom?
No, my prom queen is a lifetime appointment.
Oh, that's so.
Yeah.
Lifetime appointment, huh?
Yeah, lifetime appointment.
Great.
All will love you in despair. Correct. So I actually chose this title because right before I started streaming, I was listening to this song by Beach Bunny called Prom Queen.
I like that song.
I like it too. Maybe you should lower your expectations. I should try harder. Yeah, it's a cool song. It reminds me of a 90s song, even though it's more recent than that.
Yeah, it's raw.
You do well to fear the taking of your crown. Using YouTube as the sole repository for your autobiography is like insisting on flash paper when carbon paper is free and takes no more effort to write on. I do have a redundant stack of flash paper. Namely, I've got a TWFE archives channel. As long as the fire is very localized, that should keep us safe. Yeah, no sadness allowed, Curious Kyra. Have you forgotten the rule? If I get shit on around here, okay? Hey, are you talking about your feelings? You forgot. Yeah, no crying in porn. I mean in prom.
I'm like, no crying in porn.
No crying in porn, for sure.
Where is this happening?
For sure, no crying in porn. But also no crying at prom. Okay. You are on my court. Okay, that means you have a big smile.
And see how big his smile is. That's how he won.
Yeah.
Also the hair.
It's a really good thumbnail for this episode. I don't know if you saw it or not.
I don't think I did.
Let me see if I can show you.
His porn smile, exactly.
Yeah, my next is my Sweet 16 party. Then after that, I'm having my quinceañera. I'm going backwards in time.
You're going backwards?
Mm-hmm.
Is that when you start to feel older and you want to make up your age?
Kyra, let's not get into fights with Grass Eater, please. No, he's not on the same cluttered desk. He's on a different cluttered desk in the same room. That's different, okay? Your analogy is incorrect. It's on a different cluttered desk in the same room. Eric, your thought that there will be simulated Eric's created in the future that based on your digital content history? Highly likely. If anybody would want one, though. The problem is, I've hypothesized before that Facebook, if they kept good track of everybody's messages to their loved ones and they were frequent messengers, then they could have after you die, they could have you still message with your loved ones using an AI you that's created from all of your previous messages, and have some sort of incorporated like new information algorithm that incorporates little bits of new information, and that basically imitates your writing voice, and that it could probably be pretty convincing right now. That doesn't sound like a super daunting task for some programmer to manage to do.
No, it's very easy actually. They do it for therapists.
Kurzweil tried to do this with his father. Interesting guy. Oh, he did? I've never heard of Kurzweil before. But I have definitely thought about this topic before. And I think that simulated Eric would be very easy to make, because it's really a matter of... No, YouTube's a room. That's where your analogy goes wrong. You're just articulating the flaw in your map, not fixing it. Ray Kurzweil, look it up. Okay, I'll look him up. But it would be very easy if they had an algorithm that was going to successfully do this. It would probably, almost certainly be ever more successful the more data it had to work with. So since I have so much data to work with, there are so many hours, more data to work with than I think any algorithm could possibly need. I think it would max out its ability to imitate me.
Hey, play nice.
No, I understand now why it's in response to my title.
Oh.
I sometimes forget shit like that.
What was your title? Prom Queen.
Prom Queen.
Yeah.
It's still a stupid thing to say. Kashriya Dharma.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, come on, work a little bit harder than that. Try to be amusing or interesting or just something. I don't know about Black Mirror stuff, but I'm saying, yeah. And hi there, Barger Fargret. Thank you for your congratulations. I've had people coming up and giving me roses all day, one at a time. Just, hey, Eric, here you go. Good job on being prom queen.
Yeah.
That's okay. You're forgiven. Kshatriya Dharma, you are forgiven because why? This is a mistake-tolerant environment. We all make mistakes. What you need is a fireproof copy room that duplicates each stream you do automatically without doing any extra work, right? You speak truth. You speak truth. I mean, it can be target rich as well. You just gotta aim better. In other words, this is not a place where you will be condemned for triggering. It's not an FI respecting place. It doesn't respect people's feelings very much. But yes. I mean, well, put it this way. It doesn't have that as an underlying.
Oh my gosh, such a strong kitty! Yes.
Underlying principle that people's feelings are more important than the truth.
Oh,
it's
so
quite the opposite. Dancing Queen is spectacular.
Yeah, what's the song that you and your prom king are gonna dance to?
Well, it's gonna obviously have to be my new favorite song, Friday Night at Freddy's 2. I don't know how we're gonna dance this. It's not really a slow song, though. Maybe I should pick a.
Hey, you said it.
I could pick a slow dancing song. If I gotta pick a slow dancing song, I want to pick but you're always a lady to me. That's song by Billy Joel.
Oh yeah.
But you're always a lady to me. Yeah, that song.
Yeah. Oh wow.
What song is that?
Oh Always a woman.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Always a woman? Okay. Yeah, so we got two choices. I'm going to give my prom king a choice, whether he wants to dance with me to Friday Night at Freddy's 2 or Always a Woman by Billy Joel, I believe. Other types besides ENTPs that are ADHD, INTPs, ESTPs.
Oh, what a beauty. Yes, Caprio. You hung out with mommy today and slept in.
Remember, Margaret, ADHD is not a real thing. It's just called SE 8th or 7th. ENFPs, yeah. SE 8th or 7th is just all about like, well, I don't feel like doing that thing yet. Do I have pet fish? I do have pet fish. Do I pet my pet fish? No. But it's a good question, an important question.
I'm so scared, my dear.
Look, ADHD can be summed up as, no, my fish are thriving. We have more fish than we know what to do with. See, we started off with like 9, I think, guppies, and now we have well more than 9 guppies. Let me tell you that. Do I play with my fish? Am I a gay fish stick? No, I'm not. But it's not a ruse. Hey, grass eater, listen. It's not a ruse to sell it. It's an excuse to buy it. You got it backwards. Doy.
Who's prom king again?
We haven't. Dave Sanderson probably.
Oh,
He's winning right now. He's winning, but it could be Grass Eater's making a late run at it.
Is he?
Yeah.
Wow. I wouldn't have expected that.
Yeah, she's just bad SE. Bad SE could be 7th, could be 8th, could be 4th. I mean, I don't think that many INFJs get diagnosed as ADHD, but it depends on.
My mom thought I had ADD. ADD, not ADHD.
I mean, they've kind of gotten rid of that former label or somewhat.
Yeah. She brought me to a neurologist to check it out, and he was like, "No, you are just you." Like, yeah, thanks. I am just me.
Right. Running Fox pointed out. INFJ has quote unquote inattentive ADHD without the hyperactivity, which is the staring into the void.
Yeah.
Do SE and SI have similarities? Well, they link together quite a bit. So, like, let's talk about where they link together. Here's the part where if you're playing soccer, let's say, you've got, just the sort of will to run to the ball and kick it and stuff. That comprises an SE kind of attention. In other words, you're paying attention externally to people who might try to take the ball from you, blah, 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 blah. But paying attention to how much energy you're using and how much energy you have in total to use and whether or not you're using it wisely, which is something that people have to do when playing soccer. Because there's stretches of soccer where people are just standing there, and then there's stretches where they're running. And they've got to kind of make sure that they don't, you can gain a certain advantage by being running full speed all the time, right? And where your opponents are sort of varying speeds, but you won't last very long on the field if you try to do that, right? So that's an example of how good SE requires some attention to SI as well if you want to be successful at tasks that require more follow through and less instant doing. Like if I had to dig a small hole and I had a shovel, it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to go, okay, there, I'm done. But if I had to dig a big hole, that would be a terrible idea, right? because then I would get blisters and get tired very fast, and I wouldn't have any sense of settling into the process, you know. So SI and SE link in the way that SE has to be aware of SE. That's a good tip, Life Syncrotic. Wow. Rarely have I heard a better tip. I'm going to share with everybody right here. This is a life hack of all TE life hacks. Start with the edges when you're digging a big hole. Of course. That makes so much sense. That makes so much sense. That's the sort of thing I would totally fuck up. If you asked me to dig a big hole, I would start in the middle. I would totally start in the middle. I know I would. It's like, it's the most natural thing in the world. Where am I digging the hole?
Just the tip.
Bye, Burger Fargret. You wouldn't even dig the hole? Well, you would if if it was part of this vision of yours or something, like you wanted, like, well, for example, okay, Horse Mumbler. We'll have to talk at some point here, okay? Well, I mean, the thing is this. If you knew that there was a buried treasure that you had figured out after a lot of hard, intuitive work where its location was, you'd dig the hole, you know? If it was entirely of your own production, you'd dig the hole. Like, if you come across some really interesting looking old map thing in the library and you intuit out that it's actually a map that's leading to another map that you find, and then you figure out what those symbols are, and then you find I'm pretty sure this is the fucking spot right here. You definitely dig the hole. Anybody would dig that hole. Diamond says, I hate when people change the places of things. I put it there for a reason. I'd say it's weird. There's only one thing that I can think of that I think, like, somehow Rachel's responsible for knowing where it is, which is the charging cable for my phone. So I look up there. If it's not up there, I assume that Rachel did something with it, even though I never put it up there. So she's the one who takes my plug out and puts it up on top of the thing, right? And because she charges her phone a lot more frequently than I do.
Yeah,
my phone doesn't have to charge very often. So she'll just usually put it up there, right? So then if I'm looking for my charger and it's not there, I can't find my charger. I can't find it. Where's my cable? I don't know where it is. And then Rachel accepts ownership of that instantly and goes, let me look for it. You know, that's the only thing I can think that we're like that about, though, really, is the phone cable.
It's so funny. But do you see the diva in host Eric? I mean, already titled Prom Queen.
I know. Now that I'm Prom Queen, my life is really going to start going. Things are really going to start moving now. See, people legitimize a YouTuber on a lot of different metrics. And one of the metrics that people aren't aware of very much, but that actually has a really powerful influence on people's willingness or desire to watch a YouTube channel, is whether or not the host of the channel has been named Prom Queen.
It makes sense.
It does if you think about it. I didn't see the new Borat. I'm not seeing it. I didn't really like the original Borat.
No.
It's discomfort comedy, you know?
Yeah, it is. And this one, there's this whole thing about Rudy Giuliani, and he was totally set up, and it like is very disturbing to me. It's like, yes, I'm happy that this stuff is being exposed, because a lot of people have just kind of like turned a blind eye to a lot of that kind of behavior. But I don't want to. I don't want to pay money to see that. I'm sorry. Like you think that Borat, like, he's so gross himself. He fucking walks around in a banana hammock like it's no big deal, like, all the time. It's disgusting. He's a pervert too. He just puts it out there. Rudy Giuliani likes to hide it.
I mean, the thing is, I just don't like his humor. That's what it boils down to. I've always found it occasionally funny and mostly uncomfortable.
It's cringy.
It makes me uncomfortable. So I have not seen the new Alex Jones things on Joe Rogan. I don't know anything really about that.
I was on Borat's top 10 people in MySpace, which is so weird.
What do you think of the fact that everyone in Alpha Quadrant did horribly on the visual memory test? I mean, I've always said I'm bad at visual stuff, so it makes sense if that's a quadra thing. It would suggest it makes sense because I think visual stuff links to SE and I, and maybe TE as well. Alphas use non-Euclidean geometry to what? For an FE Dom, Borat isn't comedy, just showing how much people are foolish and believe stereotypes and are so confident in their complete lack of real information and willing to believe it's ridiculous. Well, okay, so, I mean, there's got to be a TE element to it as well. And I suspect that that's the case. I suspect that, like, if you're talking about INFJs, they all have good instincts about, say, like, visual aesthetics, but they... All right, we'll get Rachel to take it.
Okay. Yeah, well, can I take it on yours?
Yeah, sure.
Here, it's way easier.
Yeah, sure. We'll do it after the stream.
Okay.
Cara, being sensitive is valid. There's nothing wrong with being sensitive. Feelings are acceptable. I was sort of just kidding when I said feelings don't matter, or whatever it was I said. This is not cappuccino. This is regular coffee. But let me tell you something, Life Syncrotic. It's not just regular coffee. It's regular coffee with a lot of powdered creamer in it. And that makes a huge difference, okay? A huge difference. It's rich, creamy, and delicious. Like my cock.
Agreed. That's how you won.
That's how I won prom queen. That's how I won
But
prom
you won't
queen.
give it up for prom night? Like, come on.
Nope. I don't give it up on prom night. Earmuffs, says Running Fox. Sorry. I know that some people probably... I don't really ever think about it, but it's possible people listen to this in their car while they're driving around with their kids.
Oh, gosh.
I was talking about a rooster. My rooster. Okay, grass eater? I was talking about my rooster. Jeez, you people in your filthy minds. I'm just talking about my rooster.
The Freudian slip. This is a good day.
Have you had Keurig, Eric? Yeah, I used to have a Keurig. How sure am I that Zayden Black is an ISTJ? Not very sure. She's one of the people in the world that I'm least sure about, actually. She's one of the hardest people to type I've ever met. I know they do. We got in trouble with the city of Laverne because we had a rooster for a little while. We thought it was a chicken when we got it. It turned out to be a rooster. And it started cock-a-doodle-doodling, and we got a letter from the city. Yeah, it's true. And we had to get rid of it. We found a farm that would take it in Chino. Well, it wasn't really a farm. It was a home in Chino that had a lot of land that they had animals and stuff on, you know. I don't know. I wouldn't call it a farm. We had hens. But the thing is, no, no, I shit you not, Gen X Heel. Okay, I was dating an ISFJ at the time. She found an actual farm to take the rooster to be the needed rooster for a flock of hens. That's the kind of shit ISFJs do. Okay? I mean, you know, what would I have done? Sorry, rooster. No, I couldn't have done that to him.
No.
I like that rooster actually a lot.
You do get attached to animals
Yeah.
after a while.
Yeah.
Right now we have the problem of who is Pete.
Pete's the one with a fluffier back, okay?
Okay.
There's one with more feathers showing. Pete's still got some fluff at the moment.
He's mostly fluff.
But I think that the key thing for us to be able to distinguish Pete from the other peacocks is going to be to look at the little meows on the top.
Yeah, how do you know?
Well, next time we identify Pete, definitively, and it's easy to tell because he behaves around us much differently than the other peacocks. It's like if we walk towards Pete, he might sort of back up a little bit, you know. But
I can't tell. It's so confusing to me.
You got to interact with him a little while. If he, and you'll be able to tell.
Okay.
Once you make sure you're talking to Pete, then you got to look at the little things on top of his head.
That's what I want to know.
Okay,
Does he have more or less?
I don't know yet either. I haven't implemented this plan.
Right,
I'm just saying we should.
The other one, I believe, was chilling on the deck.
No, I think that was Pete.
Oh, you think that was Pete? Because he wasn't afraid of me like at all.
Yeah, I think that was Pete. What does a house wear for prom night? A dress. That's such a silly pun. Oh. Alt. See, this is why I wish I had my point system set up. If I could find somebody responsible who wanted to do that job, I'd probably have to pay somebody to do that. It's such a job, you know. The difference between being an asshole and not being one as a parent.
Oh.
How early on do you think you can determine somebody is an asshole or not? How often do you think you encounter people who at first think are assholes and you find out they're actually big teddy bears or whatever? Razor M, your face is slanty face. You've got a slanty smile with a couple of eyes. What emotion does that expression supposed to convey?
Which one?
Colon with slanty mouth.
Meh.
That's meh?
Yeah.
Okay. Did the live freeze or is it just my internet being wonky? I don't know. When does a dad joke become a dad joke? Once you've heard it 5 or 10 times.
Or it's very like good humored.
Yeah, it could be very good humored. like, I got accused of a dad joke the other day, actually. I don't remember what it was, though. Maybe my daughter who accused me of a dad joke. Do you remember what the joke was? I don't either. See, that's how fourth and eighth SI are kind of similar like that.
Yeah.
We both remember the FE thing that Delilah said I had a dad joke, but neither of us remember the high resolution, namely the actual joke that was told. Because the takeaway is about perceptions on this level and not about the specifics down here.
Yeah.
Being the point person, I want to have like I could set this up easily enough myself, even by just putting a Google Docs table, like using the streaming software, putting a Google Docs table as one of the windows in the stream, and then, but what I want is for YouTube to build it into the thing. So it would be like, the job is you add every chatter's name to the thing, and you add points to their names when they do something point worthy.
So like give them like a star in class.
Yeah, like that, right? And then at the end of the stream, you say who won the chat, or who got second place in the chat and stuff.
I like that.
I like the idea a lot, but I can't do it and stream concurrently. I know that.
Not now. We'll see.
No, I'm saying, unless it were built into YouTube, I wouldn't be able to do that and stream concurrently, because it would have to include an aspect of typing in the name of the chatter as they enter into the chat, right? It's a lot of bookkeeping. I could do it concurrently in live stream if YouTube would build that thing into YouTube, that idea into YouTube, which would be fun. It would be a lot of fun.
It would be fun.
I wish that YouTube would do that, and then there'd be an incentive to do good chat,
Yeah.
So, it's like maybe I should send them my suggestion to YouTube.
Why not?
They might listen to me. Who knows?
Yeah.
They probably get a lot of suggestions, but they might think that's a good idea.
I've sent in stuff to
platforms.
Yeah. I mean, you never know. They could take it.
Right, Ryan Fox. I'm the same way. I cannot watch. Well, actually, it's not true. I can watch animals hurting other animals.
Like National Geographic.
Cress Eater. It's not. I don't want them to steal my. They wouldn't be stealing my idea. They'd be using my suggestion. I am not. It's not my idea. I want them to do it. It's just I'd like the platform to have that feature. I'm not trying. It doesn't matter where the idea came from. It just seems like that would be fun. Okay, so if they were to use my idea, I'd be flattered. I wouldn't consider them stealing it. It's only meaningful within this context to me. When it's apparent, badum hiss. When does a dad joke become a dad joke? When it becomes apparent. Badum hiss. I think that's supposed to say when it becomes apparent. I think the badum hiss, though, you're right there. You're right about this, that if your joke elicits a drum sound by people, then you're definitely using I think I'm getting thrown by utter self's comment. I don't want to do that. I just want that feature. God damn it. You're missing the point. We're not talking about ways to exploit things for money. We're talking about what feature I'd like to have on YouTube.
So where did this voting take place? place for prom queen?
Secret location. Secret ballot is secret location.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I had no chance to vote.
You had no chance to vote. No. Well, you're not an Arcadia High alumni. It's only for Arcadia High
Well,
alumni.
thank you. That your face was so happy while saying that. You're like, well, can't do it
Only me.
anyway.
Only I get to be prom queen.
I don't want to be prom queen. I wanted to be your date, I guess. But then
You get to be my
I
date.
get to be your date, but I don't get to have the dance with you.
Well, that's true. But here's the thing to remember: I have to dance with a dude, and I'm heterosexual, so it really isn't any problem for you.
Thank you, babe.
Mm-hmm.
See how reassuring he is?
Yeah, so you don't really have to worry about anything.
Wow.
Because even though I'm prom queen, and even though I do have to dance with the prom king, fingers crossed, David Sanderson. Because I'm a heterosexual, you don't have to worry about it. I'm not going to let David Sanderson hump me.
Okay, good. That's all. I was just worried about that.
There might be some type of objective criteria to evaluate jerk behavior. Well, the thing that I think would be very interesting about this for point economy is, it's okay. Look, I might, while we're slow dancing, he might get away with a dry hump or two, but it wouldn't be. It would only be because I wouldn't want to interrupt the dance. You know, I wouldn't want to embarrass us like that. So I'd have to let a little bit of handsiness I have to let him get away with a little bit of handsiness while we're dancing, possibly. It just sort of goes with the territory. But believe me, as soon as that dance is over, if he did get too handsy, I'm slapping him right across the face. Well, if I get to pick the song, we're not doing the Humpty. Okay? Yeah, it's my day, okay? This is my day. You're there to support, okay?
I'm understanding of this.
Okay, good. Thank you. And you talk to Cindy and tell her she is not wearing that mini skirt.
Oh, so you get to say what I have to wear.
No, I'm saying you tell Cindy.
Cindy.
You talk to Cindy, you tell her she's not wearing that mini skirt. She looks like a slut in it, and I'm not going to have her besmirching my court with that kind of outfit.
Okay, I understand. It is your day. You don't want anyone stealing.
I want her in a full body wetsuit.
Okay. A full body wetsuit, but isn't that a little scandalous too?
No, because we're gonna be pouring water on her all night, so she'll need it.
Okay. This is what it was.
It's my day. Yeah. Everybody has to cooperate with me on the day that I finally became prom queen. After waiting for more than 30 years, you can't blame me for being like this.
We'll have a reality show called The Real Prom Queens of Arcadia.
Yeah. The real prom queens of Arcadia. I can't believe you got me a Mazda! I don't want a Mazda. Nobody even thinks Mazdas are cool at all. I think Mazdas are cool, actually. I like Mazdas.
Me too. They're kind of compact. I like that.
I wonder if they still make a car that has a rotary engine. Does Mazda still make the rotary engined RX-7? Is that what it is? The Mazda RX-7? Oh, are you kicking? KD? I'm gonna call you KD because Kshatriya Dharma is too hard to say. Kshatriya is hard. Dharma is easy to say. I'm gonna call you KD.
KD.
Are you kicking something, Katie? Good luck with that. It's a virtuous endeavor, whatever it is you're kicking. Especially if it's alcohol, definitely worth kicking. So I'm curious about the history of the Mazda RX-7 and the rotary engine therein. You want to hear your man whisper to me, zoom, zoom, in our lovemaking session?
Mazda. Zoom, zoom.
They stopped making it after the RX-8. Why did they stop making it? Did it turn out like they couldn't make it so it didn't break down all the time, or what? Only true men whisper zoom zoom during intercourse. I'll keep that in mind. Next time, right as Rachel's about to come, I'll say zoom zoom. And ruin it for her completely. I probably already ruined it because as she's getting there next time, she's gonna be like, she's gonna think of it to herself, zoom zoom.
Yeah, you were both going to be.
She's gonna start laughing.
That was 1, 2, 3. Aww. What the?
I want to know why the rotary engine ultimately failed. What was the shortcoming inherent to it that prevented it from competing adequately with the other style of engine?
It doesn't sound like a good idea.
What sounds bad about it? You don't like the word rotary?
Yeah.
Like a rotary phone?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to look it up on the internet is what I'm going to do right now. Mazda rotary engine.
Oh, you got another congratulations from Danielle's channel.
Oh, Danielle's channel?
Yeah.
Thanks. Thanks, Danielle's channel. 2012. That's when they stopped making it. Oh, why did it stop? What was wrong with it?
Maybe they just like the number 7.
I mean, what's the whole deal with the rotary engine in the first place? Oh, look what Rachel did. She spilled all the weed all over the floor.
God damn. That's what happens when you don't twist the lid the whole way. Fucking lazy TV person.
Because it's a big hunk of spinning steel, that's why? Huh. No, the floor's not wet, it's stained. That's not a stain.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is. I have no clue what
I don't know what that is either. It looks like an oil spot on the carpet. I don't know how that got there or what it is.
No, because, like, we're pretty good about cleaning up after, like, spills and stuff. I think I have an idea. It was probably the bong at one point. My bong.
Possibly.
It looks like, yeah.
Or mine, yeah.
Yeah.
Taxonomies have an implicit claim that there is no overlap between defined categories. Well, I think taxonomies have implicit in them that regardless of if and how something appears to fall in a border region, it must necessarily be a member of one set and not the other. That's a little bit different than what you're saying. But I like where you're thinking, Stuart Johnson. It's good thinking. It's true that the meaning of the word requires a thing to fall into one set or the other. It doesn't preclude there being things that are difficult to put into one set or the other. No, right? I agree. There's no implicit claim that it's exhaustive. But that if an object of analysis qualifies for taxonomical placement, then it'll place in one place and not another. Gold star for Stuart Johnson, indeed. It's good thinking, Stuart Johnson. I like where you're going there. Are JEPE functions usually objective and JIPI functions usually subjective like many claim? No, here's objective, subjective. First of all, there are really only one objective and one subjective function. TI is objective, FI is subjective. The other functions don't meaningfully qualify as a sort of thing that one modifies with the word objective or subjective. Okay, but to the extent that we want to break them all into objective or subjective, we would say that TI, FE, NI, and NE are objective, and that SI, SE, FI, and TE are subjective. And the reason for this is because when we use that kind of definition of objective and subjective, we're saying, is a thing of the map or of the territory? The ones that I called objective are things that are of the map. And the stuff that I call subjective there are things that are of the territory. Running Fox, you were right. Today, I am queen. I am the prom queen. If you pass me in the halls and you look at me, it should be with awed admiration. Well, at the base level, it does. I say it's that there's a primary. Okay, so look, let's go down to the very bottom level of the model. Okay, it says there's a prime directive, and that prime directive is to narrow the gap between the map and the territory. And it says there are 4 different kinds of information flows: putting information, getting information, receiving information, and interfacing with the dynamic system, which is its own kind of information flow. Okay. And first listen. First listen and try to understand and then question. Okay. Don't try to make me justify everything until you've tried to understand and failed to do so. Okay. Try to understand it first. What I mean by closing the gap between map and the territory is that people have expectations about the future, but then they have experiences in the future from our perspective now, right? So we have perspectives that include the future, the past, and we have experiences that are in real time. All right. So when we're talking about experiencing something, we know that experiencing something and representing that experience are different things, and that they operate on different economies. There's not any disputing that. So, for example, I took a bath last night, I think it was, and it felt very good and was very relaxing and stuff like that. But my representation of it right here now, the experiences and representations of those experiences are different things. So, for example, I took a bath last night. I'm telling you about it, my representation of the bath that I took and how relaxing and experientially satisfying it was is different than the experience itself. It's easy to understand the relationship between map and territory, therefore, in regards to the past. It's more challenging to understand the relationship between map and territory in regards to the future because the future hasn't happened yet, definitionally. So the thing is, the two logics of the world are communicative logic and non-communicative logic, which is to say, the logic of language and the map versus the logic of the world itself. TE and FI are both of the world itself. They say, I know what I want. I know how to get it. I'm going to try to know how to get it with TE. I'm going to try to do the thing I have to do to get it with SE. I'm going to keep track of the things that I want and how, whether or not I've gotten them and what ways work and stuff with SI. That would be a fully physical stack. Nobody has a fully physical stack. Nobody's all physical and nobody's all metaphysical. Everybody's 3 in 1. No, FE is objective. FE, look, again, the word is not correct, objective, to use with FE. It is correct to say that FE is of the map and FI is of the territory. TE is of the territory as well. TE is not about what is communicatively sensible. It's about what actually attains the goal you want. And it's about attaining goals and solving problems in a real way, in a concrete way. Whereas attaining goals and solving problems in an abstract way is a different matter entirely. Because subjectivity and objectivity is not the same thing as falsehood and truth, which is what people always seem to think it means. Being more objective doesn't mean you're more correct necessarily. Being objective in certain circumstances is the wrong approach to take. Whether or not you ought to evaluate a question objectively or subjectively depends on the nature of the question. So, TI is objective because at the end of the day, you have to defend your language. TI is about what is argumentationally defensible. And language is most defensible when it's most consistent. So you've got to be consistent across a lot of different metrics, right? You got to be consistent with social mores that are general norms that aren't necessarily themselves very logical. You've got to find ways to explain your position that take advantage of social norms that aren't necessarily very logical. And you've got to incorporate a lot of different things. A TI person is being objective when they're critiquing somebody's language. In other words, they're treating the other person's language as an object and evaluating it on what is being said. That doesn't mean that they are objective as a human being. In other words, it doesn't mean that they're fair, right? Requiring consistency and actually being fair are different things. Most people would say most ENTPs are not very fair. Well, for a TI user, why would they not be fair? Well, because it's a tool function. It's instrumental. It's like INFJs don't really like people all that much. Well, why would that be the case? They're INFJs. Well, because FE's tool function is an instrumental value. So it's like I'm unusually fair for an ENTP. I think it's fair to say that. I think most ENTPs are much less fair than I am.
Yes.
And the reason I'm so fair is largely because I've linked so tightly fairness with my FE. In other words, because I what's the word? I'm trying to think of a specific word that means invoke. That's what.
Oh, thank you.
Because I invoke fairness as a value so much, and claim to uphold it so much, and I'm so public in my discourse about it, I can't really be unfair without incurring a lot of FE harms, So for a variety of reasons, I think I'm less prone to solipsism than most ENTPs. And when I say what I mean by solipsism is, okay, well, I've given you specifically this, Stuart Johnson, 4 kinds of information directionality that are distinct from each other. I'm saying that although I have not successfully broken everything down to that kind of machine code level, that ultimately one could, and with some additional work based on what I have here, successfully model this, which means, in fact, that it would have to fall into one of those classifications. So, I mean, did you hear what I said? Putting information. Think about the internet, right? There's putting information. If I put information into a form, there's getting information. If I Google something, there's receiving information. An ad that's put upon me unwanted, right? And there's interfacing with the dynamic system, what I'm doing right now. Are those distinct enough for you? Do you think they're not distinct? I mean, you've got to understand that maps necessarily are maps and are necessarily not territory. You're saying you can't prove that the thing you're mapping is as distinct as the map is going to make it. It's not necessarily. The map is a map and the territory is the territory. How is any wanted in any DOMs? What do you mean wanted? Any is putting information. It's generating it's ideation. It's the action process of the external metaphysical field. So extroverted intuition is the action process that puts information on the external metaphysical field. To be an action dominant person, to be an extroverted intuition dom, right, is to reflexively, I agree, act first, ideate first, come up with more ideas about something as a reflexive attentional approach. That's true. And they're putting information either as they're speaking out loud on the external metaphysical field, as you see me doing right now, or they're putting it on their internal metaphysical field temporarily, where it's sustained by their SI for a short period of time, at which point, unless it's spoken out loud, it is lost to them. Right. So, for example, when you see a duck and you know it's a duck, you didn't seek that information. NI links to identity, right? So when you see a duck and you know that it's a duck, you don't go to yourself, now what is this thing that I'm looking at? You just know it instantly, right? That's an example of receiving information unbidden, reflexively. No, okay, yes, but the thing is, also, it's no, it's not. It's also a matter of will, right? So it's like I can't not know that information. I can choose to not solve this math problem, however. Correct? If I've been traumatized, we know that memory burdens people unwillingly. They don't choose to be burdened by it. If I was traumatized in the past and those traumas are presenting persistent painful memories, those memories are things that are reflexively received against my will. Can I choose not to do any if it's a reflex? Well, being a dominant function person is, I've explained it before as a continuing process of NE and SI, which is to say that being an NE DOM means switching back and forth a lot between NE and SI. And that being an NE DOM versus an SI DOM means that the NE sets the frame and the SI provides the thing off of which the NE builds. But like right now, I'm mostly recounting information that I've explained before as a response to this. You might say it's somewhat divergent in its ideation because it's responsive to a somewhat divergent question, but largely it's SI that I'm doing right now. But because I'm an NE DOM, this is the sort of thing that I SI, namely ideational stuff. I keep track of ideational stuff. I don't keep track of experiential stuff. Okay. Eric, I touched on one at STP, but they passed the NE test as well as about an INTP. Thing is, then they said they don't ideate at all ever, and they're much more action over ideation. Should I rely more on the skills test or other questions when information is contradictory? Well, self-reporting inherently is unreliable, so I'd have to say the skills. But it's hard to say. I'd have to know. I'd have to have more experience with it to give you a satisfying answer. Well, I think you have to. It's mechanical. In other words, there's an NI quality to this, Stuart Johnson. You're trying to get me to explain how an engine works sequentially, right? But an engine isn't sequential in that fashion. So it's a complex metric of things. Now, it's true that we're trying to map something that's like complicated like an engine, and therefore, you know, what you're trying to, if you want to say, is this absolutely TI reducibly comprehensible on a sequential level, then no, it's not going to work like that yet. We'd have to represent it in that fashion in some way in order to successfully model it if we were going to simulate it. And that's my ultimate goal. I would like to see this thing simulated. If we could simulate it, yeah, your NI countervaluing. Yeah. So to simulate it, we have to actually validate on TI grounds. 100%. In other words, we have to reduce certain things to binaries, and that's a big job. Are you saying, have I done that job yet? No, I haven't. And if you're gonna ask a bunch of questions to establish that, hey, you haven't done that job yet, I've never claimed to have done that job. I said I would love to see somebody do the legwork to simulate this thing. I'd be happy to provide consulting advice or whatever and my thoughts on the matter, but that person's not going to be me. So that's the reality of it. In other words, I don't claim to have this thing completely broken down into a fully explanatory mechanical model. I claim to have correctly mapped what's there at the level of focus that I want to attend to it at. Can I explain why I can't be trusted to identify any? I think I'm quite good at it. Well, can you explain why I can't be trusted to identify FI? I don't think I'm very good at it. Okay. In my current system, is there a thing called SE metaphysical? What it really is extroverted intuition that's through an SE frame. So it's like, if you want to see what might be shorthanded but incorrectly called SE metaphysical, you just look at the way Cloud interacts, where his ideation is designed to provoke physical world responses in people of some sort, namely emotional responses, rather than to engage ideationally. But it would be incorrect of me, and I probably have referred to it as such before in the past, but I've stopped probably recently saying this, but it's incorrect to call it SE metaphysical. It's true that you can see the action functions framing each other within within their respective frames. So you can see the impacts of being an SE DOM on NE, but it's still NE. So that's sort of a recent adjustment I've made on understanding things. Okay. Stuart Johnson tired my TI out. I think, I was like, okay, here comes another INTP who's decided to take this seriously. Oh shit!
Yeah,
you have to be careful. I can smell a horse mumble.
It is your prom day.
I know. And Stuart Johnson, you did this to me on the one day that I get to be prom queen. What is up with that, Stuart Johnson? Talk about INTP, fourth slot FE, not taking the circumstances into account. You better knock that off, Buster. Okay, it's my day. This is my day. Don't make me use TI today, okay? I hate that shit. It's like I'm at work. That's what I do at work, That is actually my job, is to be prepared for INTP critiques like that. Do you think you have the right ratio? We have the right ratio of the types to live in peace. Do you think any biologically determined types have died off since industrializing? No. To the second question, no. I think there's 16 types implicitly. Those are the configurable possibilities based on the based on the possible flows of information, basically. As to the other question, do I think we have the right ratio of types to live in peace? Well, I think we've done pretty well so far. The world's getting more peaceful, not more warlike. Right. Is NI-polar less capable of recognizing the duck? The answer is no, because SI tool. No, the answer is because there's some machine code level versions of these things that everybody has, no matter where it is, including the polar. So like SI and NI are the best ones to talk about because they're the easiest to discuss. I say SI links to object permanence and NI links to shape constancy, which are proto skills that babies develop at a certain point in their life. And I would say that those things represent kind of like machine code level versions of things that everybody has. As to the question that caused me to almost lose my train of thought there, which material of Carl Jung have you read? None of it. It's trippy watching Reality Bites. I tell you, because that movie is about people who are just graduating from college, and it came out the year that I just graduated from college. So it's like, it's hard to watch. It's SI intense and FE challenging but I'm glad we're watching it.
I like it for nostalgia reasons. It takes place in the early to mid 90s, which the style is so there, and I like that. And it's also relatable because I felt that way graduating college too. You're halfway an adult.
Right.
You're supposed to be.
You're supposed to be, but you aren't.
Yeah.
Clayton McCorrick says, I commented on Marty Glenn's INFJ foolproof video asking him how he substantiates his claims, and with the ensuing dialogue, pretty sure he's going to throw my name up on his clear board next video. Does he have a clear board? What does that mean? Is it like suppressive person in Scientology? SPs, suppressive people who ask challenging questions, for example. All right. Anyway, I gotta go get my makeup done, and I need to get my hair curled. Did we say curled? Is that what we decided was going to look best? If I got it curled, or
I think curled, yeah.
Curled, right? I'm gonna get it curled with the curls of curliness.
You have natural curl to your hair, so I think we should just.
Who dog is this? The next door app sent me an email, and it just says in all caps, "Who dog is this?"
That's great.
Oh, who dog is this indeed? I don't understand how you can claim to know a system so well when you haven't read any of the material of the creator of the system. That's like saying, I don't know how you can claim to understand computers well when you haven't even studied the abacus. What? I don't think I need to study an abacus to understand computers well. Anyway, I mean, the thing is, I don't understand. Personally, this is the reality. I do understand why, but if I were going to say the corollary thing, I would say, I don't understand how you could possibly claim to critique what I'm saying based on what I haven't read. It's like, it's insane. You can ask me any question you want to ask me, and I give you an answer that makes perfectly good sense. And you care about what I've read. You don't care about what I'm saying. I don't care about what you've read. You could be the most poorly read person in the world. You read nothing, but you could have the good idea, right? I'm able to articulate specifically why my ideas are better. Why you would choose such a terrible way of evaluating my legitimacy. Well, I do know why. It's because you're using TE somewhere, probably in the wrong place at the wrong time for the wrong reasons, and that's why.
Again, no one takes in consideration you've just been voted prom queen.
Again, thank you, Rachel. I was trying to change the subject there. Back to my hair, my makeup, my dress, my corsage.
We do have to discuss. Well, yeah.
Well, as you're my date, we have to each get each other corsages.
Yeah, exactly. So we do need to discuss that.
Okay, we need to each pin. And listen, when you pin your corsage on me, don't try to cop a feel of my boob. That's for after prom, but even then, it's for tomorrow.
The whole day is dry.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow, I can't even cup a boob.
No,
Jeez.
no, not even when you put the corsage on. You got to be really careful not to touch my breast. Rachel and I are not going to be dancing together at the official dance. I have to dance with the prom king. Maybe it's Stuart Johnson now. Stuart Johnson has moved into the lead of prom king.
Ooh.
Okay, well, Stuart Johnson, I'd point out that it's easy to make the mistake that socionics makes, which is, I think, kind of what you're doing here, which is to say that every attentional manner is a metabolizing event. Not all attentional manners are metabolizing. I will call that a stream. Thanks for being here, everybody. I love you all. Stuart Johnson, I appreciate your robust challenge intellectually, but it's worn me out. You're smarter than me, so I have to be really careful, you know. INTPs, they're a challenge. All right. Goodbye, everybody.